Parece y Reina estamos jugando a Agatha Christie Maldad bajo el sol y estamos en el capítulo Ya no lo sé. Adivinad quién se le ha olvidado la última vez guardar episodio y ya tengo que empezar desde el fantasma. Ha sido maravilloso. O sea, tengo que hacer otra vez, menos más que solamente ir a subir arriba y coger la máquina de escribir y ya está. Pero que no me guardé y aquí estamos. Tuve que empezar otra vez de nuevo. Así que vamos a ver esto, que es lo que nos da las medio pistas.
All-knowing powers that... Fantastic.
Vale, esto lo espiamos. Siempre espiamos este hombre.
Heed our call. Provide us with the
Patrick
knowledge which
es el que
we...
está haciendo infiel a la
And
mujer.
by we, I
Sí.
refer... Voila.
Vale, también lo espiamos. Será una conversación entre ellos dos a lo mejor.
Heed
Linda
our call.
es la hija de
Provide
la
us with the knowledge
pelirroja.
which we...
No me recuerdo. La niña. Mucho amarillo.
Voila. The finger of suspicion has pointed their way.
Vale, con Linda hablamos. Este no sé
We
quién es.
beseech powers from beyond.
Observador de Agatha. No sé quién es.
Voila.
Lo observamos. Esta es la
Heed our
pelirroja.
call. Provide us with the... Fantastic.
Hablamos con ella.
All-knowing powers that
Este es
seek
el
the
novio de la,
truth when
de la
others cannot.
doncella.
I call upon...
El del garaje.
¿Ah? Can the end...
Con este hombre hablamos. No sé si ya puedo coger la herramienta. Este es el
Beseech powers
pervertido.
from beyond.
El que robó la foto.
Voila.
Hablamos con él. Y esta es la propiedad.
Heed
La de la
our
tienda.
call.
Más o menos casi todo lo tengo que decir. Tengo que ir por la tienda o pues yo te de ahí por el teléfono.
Voila. Left.
A esta mujer la ayudo. Ok. Tengo que espiar, pero ¿por qué no puedo espiar?
No, Hastings. That is not the proper route for Poirot at the moment.
Bueno, pues nada. Algo va a suceder si sale eso.
Morning, Monsieur Poirot. Any more thoughts about what we found in the ruins?
Poirot always has their thoughts, Monsieur Lane. Who can tell which will prove to be most significant? What are your plans for this morning?
I've heard there's a fine church in these parts, St. Patrick in the Coombe. I'm going to try and track it down.
What illness forced you to leave your position?
It was... I confess it was nerves, Monsieur Poirot.
Creo que
I
ya sé
did
cuál
not
es la
mean to
enfermedad.
intrude.
No, it's quite all right. No sense in my hiding the fact. Women!
Lo
They
sabía.
are so often at the source of evil.
Do you think so?
Man alive! Don't you feel it in the air? All around you! We spoke of it yesterday at the ruins. The presence of evil.
Oui, Monsieur Lane, I feel it. I am able to assist you in your search, I think.
Oh?
I found this pamphlet at the establishment of Mrs. Hughes in Leathercombe Bay.
Oh, this is marvelous. And there's a map and everything. Let's see, it'll make a fine hike over the moors, too. Thank you so much.
Monsieur Lane, I wonder if I may ask you the questions somewhat painful.
Your kind gift has lifted my spirits considerably. I will answer if I can.
Your church was near Brixham, I believe.
Oh, yes, I had a small living there. Why?
Are you familiar with Mrs. Potter's School for Young Ladies?
Why, oh, yes, Miss Potter herself and Several of the girls attended my church. Not as many as I would have liked, but some.
Do you recall the Conservatoire de Dance near there?
Oh yes, Miss Brewster, who is stopping here, was an instructor there.
Does the name Millie Parsons mean anything to you?
The murder. Yes, it caused quite a sensation. A teacher at Miss Porter's was accused. No charges were brought. Simply the ruin of a man's reputation. He may have been misguided, even driven. But the Parsons girl brought it upon herself. Of that I am convinced. And then, only a few weeks later, another murder. They must have been connected. And of that second crime he was wholly innocent, I have no doubt. So what he said in a moment of weakness...
No me digas que el asesinato y los asesinos eres tú. Porque me está dando esa sensación.
What did this teacher say to you?
I may no longer be of the cloth, Mr. Poirot, but I will keep the confidences learnt while I was still in God's service.
Even if it allows a murderer to go free?
Please! God must judge, not I.
Tell me of the second crime.
It received quite a bit of press at the time. Alice Corrigan was the name. Strangled, as was the Parsons girl. The husband was suspected, but again, no arrest was ever made. I'm convinced the two crimes were the work of one man.
And the motive?
Women are at the heart of many tragedies.
In this case, they were the victims of tragedy.
Can you doubt? They brought it upon themselves. Through fornication, adultery and
Vale.
lawlessness.
It
Ese
is my
hombre no
nature
está
to
bien de
doubt,
la
Monsieur
cabeza.
Lane.
Yes, of course. You're a detective. Still, I would think your experience would have paid witness to the truth of my words. I may have misunderstood and unburdened myself too freely. I must be off if I hope to reach the church and be back before it gets too late. Thank you again for the information.
Fellow is right round the bend, Poirot. He practically admitted he knew Millie Parsons' killer, yet did nothing because she was a
Exacto.
girl, and somehow deserved it? That's monstrous.
It is true he appears to be quite selective when it comes to forgiveness and compassion. Yet it may very well be that decision to keep silent caused his breakdown. His pain runs deep, and the struggle, it continues. There may be hope for him still.
Vamos, que en resumidas cuentas lo que hemos entendido que el asesino es el profesor. Y este hombre se ha callado la boca porque lo sabe que ha sido él. ¿Por qué? La razón, porque eran mujeres. Porque según él era pecado, eran fornicación, eran pecadoras y algo así. Y lo que le pasa a este hombre es que tiene atracción por las mujeres, siendo cura, siendo no sé qué, suele pasar. Y se está echando la culpa o algo así de que no puede hacer esas cosas, no tiene que tener esa mente. Entonces, según él, aparte de eso, está aquí porque tiene culpa de no haber dicho quién es el asesino. ¿Por qué? Porque las asesinadas son mujeres. Porque en esta época era así. Eras mujer, eres una basura. Punto. En esta época. Y actualmente
Quite securely locked, I am
puede que
afraid.
también. Actualmente sí y actualmente no. Depende porque hay cosas que ya han cambiado.
Latched tight on the inside.
Pero vamos, que en esa época técnicamente eras mujer, eras una basura. Eras prostituta, eras, no sé. Te pasaba algo y
No,
pues
no.
¿qué te ha pasado? Te
The
jodes y te
door,
aguantas.
it will not budge. Latched tight.
Esta época era así.
No, no.
Y eso es que ladra con dolor son mis
Latched tight
perras.
on the inside.
Bueno, con dolor no. Que han escuchado a alguien y están ladrando.
Mademoiselle, if I may have a moment of your time?
I only have a few minutes, Monsieur Poirot. I'm meeting Mrs. Redfern at Sanctuary Cove at 10:30.
I will come straight to the point, mademoiselle. You were a student at Miss Potter's School for Young Ladies in Brixham, were you not?
I was. I'm not anymore, though.
Millie Parsons was a classmate of yours?
Yes.
A close friend?
Nah, not really. We knew her, my friends and I, to speak to. She seemed a harmless sort. Rather sweet, actually.
Why did you leave school?
Monsieur Poirot, I like you. But I'm not sure you have the right to ask me that question.
Did you know an instructor named Gideon Fell?
Yes, we had him for anthropology.
He was a poor teacher?
He was all right, I guess. I am very interested in anthropology. That helped, I suppose.
What most interested you in the class?
Superstition. Much of what we call superstition has a basis in fact. Religious practices and so on.
You did not like him?
At first, he seemed all right. He took several of us to the picture show to see a horror film called Curse of the Islands.
The film, it was frightening to you?
A bit, I suppose. But I found it quite interesting, actually. But then he started acting strangely towards some of the girls. He was creepy. Always making comments to girls when he thought no one could hear. Complimenting them on how they looked.
This interest, it was more than politeness?
A lot more.
Was he interested in Millie Parsons?
She told me he had followed her once in the woods. He grabbed her wrist. When she tried to break away, he said how much he liked her hair. And her frock.
Su vestido.
She broke away and threatened to tell Miss Porter. She said he looked at her with his face all twisted up. It was horrible, she said.
Millie told Miss Porter of this incident?
No. One of the other girls had already complained and she did nothing. She accused the girl of trying to make trouble for Mr. Fell because he gave her bad marks.
After Millie's death, you said nothing of Mr. Fell?
I did. The police looked into it. They said he had an alibi. But I knew. My friends and I knew. You don't believe me, do you?
Au contraire, I have known many alibis that seemed unbreakable, only to shatter as easily as glass when the right force was applied.
He did it, Monsieur Poirot. He killed Millie. I have to change into my swimming costume now. Will you excuse me?
Of course. Thank you for speaking with me.
I say, Poirot, do you think you can break this Fell character's alibi?
If I can, Hastings, Miss Brewster and the police will have their answer.
¿Cómo?
No.
Mira, aquí puedo escuchar.
The door is locked, but I can hear the voices from within. Perhaps we should listen a bit closer, Hastings.
Are you going for a swim?
Of course. It's a beautiful day.
With her?
Don't, for goodness sake, get into the habit of being jealous of every pretty woman we come across.
She is not just any pretty woman. She's different. She's a bad lot. Yes, she is. She'll do you harm, Patrick. Please, give it up. Let's go away from here.
Don't be ridiculous, Christine.
Madre mía, este hombre está cegado por esa mujer.
Latched tight on the inside. It is quite a view, Hastings, but
Yo siempre subo aquí por si aparece algo. Con los prismáticos. Y hacemos comprobación. ¿Hay alguien?
these are the binoculars most splendid. Oh, that does not make... These are the...
Por aquí entonces. ¿Por qué vuelve el submarino ese? ¿Qué tengo que hacer? Escribir. Vale, tengo que seguir buscando la máquina. Resolver mi correo extraviado para la señora Hanges. Correo extraviado. Tengo un problema. No me acuerdo porque es por el centro. Si viene de aquí, tengo que venir por aquí. Mi habitación.
Latched tight. No. The door. Latched tight.
Vale.
No.
Ya hemos revisado todas las puertas. Vamos afuera. Vamos por estas puertas primero.
The door. No. Quite. The door.
¿Esta cuál es? Es la mía, ¿no?
No, Hastings. That is not the proper route for
Me cago en tu prima. Poiro. No. Ay, Poiro.
Latched.
Vamos por aquí. Y ahora vamos a estas.
The door. Latched tight. No. The door, it will not budge.
Vale. Por aquí siempre puedo entrar, creo. Efectivamente. Este hombre nunca... Bueno, esta señora nunca cierra la puerta.
The door.
Vale, entonces vamos por esta puerta mismo. Y vámonos. Vamos a ver si está esa señora aquí. Y vamos con ella. No está. No. Espérate, por aquí está. Nada. Por aquí está el restaurante, creo. Ahí hay alguien. Nada. Y aquí ya la salida, nada. Aquí nunca hay nadie. No sé cómo se la apaña, pero aquí nunca hay nadie. Vamos a ver aquí. Aquí no entro porque creo que necesito un mapa para guiarme por el túnel. Ay, no, bueno.